Have you ever gotten to the end of your day or maybe even your week and felt like you were just a passenger? You were busy, you were running around, but were you actually leading? Today, we're going to dig into how you can flip that script, how you can start driving your day instead of letting your day drive you. Let's get into it.
So let me ask you straight up, and I want you to really think about it. Are you too busy to lead? Is your day just happening to you? It's such a common trap for leaders to get caught in, right? You're always in motion, but you're not actually making progress on the things that truly matter. This is the central problem we're tackling.
And this quote from Donald Fleming, it just nails the solution. Leadership clarity isn't some nice-to-have, fluffy idea. Think of it as your personal operating system, the thing that helps you cut through all the noise and create some serious, sharp focus.
Okay, so where do we even start building this new operating system? Well, first, you got to look in the mirror. And by mirror, I mean your calendar. Because for most of us, that's where our time is just quietly leaking away, one meeting at a time.
Just look at this data from Microsoft. It's kind of staggering, right? The average person in a knowledge-based job spends over half their day, 57%, just communicating. Emails, meetings, messages. That leaves less than half your time for the deep, creative work that actually moves the needle.
And this number? For the people with the most packed schedules, it gets even worse. We're talking 7.5 hours a week just in meetings. That's basically a full workday gone. And with teams all over the world, those late-night meetings are creeping in more and more. It's just a huge drain on our most precious resource.
To put a human face on these stats, let's talk about Amira. She's a VP of operations. Everybody respects her, but she is completely and utterly exhausted. Her days are just a nonstop barrage of back-to-back meetings, which leaves her basically zero time for the strategic thinking her job actually demands.
And these are her own words. This is the real cost of being busy all the time. The work that really matters, the stuff that needs deep focus, it gets shoved into our personal time, after hours. I have to ask, does that sound even a little bit familiar to you?
So, how do we fix this mess? We need to stop focusing on the problem and start installing a whole new way of working. It's about getting a new operating system for leadership. Let's take a look at one called the M360 framework. Now, this system has 3 key parts. First, there's a tool for building tiny habits, small, consistent actions you take every day. Second, there's a meeting cost calculator which shows you in real time how much money a meeting is costing, forcing you to ask, is this really worth it? And finally, there's a training program that pulls it all together, teaching you the routines and giving you the courage to change. But here's the secret sauce. This isn't just about cool apps and tools. The whole system is built on a really solid psychological idea called self-determination theory. And it's actually pretty simple. It says that we humans thrive when we feel 3 things. Autonomy, which is control over our work. Competence, feeling like we're good at what we do. And relatedness, that feeling of connection to our team. A good system has to fuel these things, not crush them.
Okay, let's circle back to Amira and see how this new operating system actually worked for her in the real world. This is her story of going from a reactive manager just putting out fires to a proactive leader in just 90 days. So how'd she do it? It boiled down to 4 concrete steps. First, she set super clear team goals using a system called OKRs, so everyone knew exactly what winning looked like. Second, she used that cost calculator to challenge every single meeting on her calendar. Third, she started tracking just 3 tiny habits every day, like blocking off time for deep work. And finally, all these little actions started a ripple effect, creating a whole new culture of clarity and ownership on her team.
And the results? After just 12 weeks, they really speak for themselves. I mean, look at this. She cut her own meeting time by almost 30%, and her team's by 17%. The time it took them to get stuff done dropped by nearly 40%. But here's the kicker. Team engagement actually went up. This just proves it was never about working harder. It was about creating the space to work smarter on the right things.
I love this quote. It just perfectly sums up that ripple effect we were talking about. Once Amira changed her own rhythm, the entire team's music changed right along with her. That's what leading by example really looks like.
All right, Amira's story is awesome, but the real question is, how can you do this? Let's break it down into a simple blueprint you can actually use to redesign your own week. And the goal here is to be human, not some kind of superhero.
Look how manageable this is. We're talking 15 minutes on a Monday to get focused. Less than 5 minutes a day to lock in good habits. Just 10 minutes midweek to challenge one of those recurring meetings that probably doesn't need to exist. And 15 minutes on Friday to invest in your people. These are tiny little steps that create a massive impact over time.
And hey, if you still need a little more motivation, let's just look at the cold, hard math. This is the real monthly cost of just 2 typical meetings. Over $5,000. What could your team do with an extra $1,000 a month? Because that's what a simple 20% reduction in meeting time could free up, just like that.
So what's the big takeaway here? When you really start to think like a leader, your entire focus shifts. You stop just managing your calendar and you start protecting your team's energy. You build your identity as a leader through small, daily actions, not big, grand speeches. You measure the things that actually matter, and you build motivation in a healthy, sustainable way.
Let's end on this powerful idea. Real, lasting change doesn't come from some big all-hands meeting or a fancy speech. It comes from the small, consistent, brave steps you take every single day. That's how you build real momentum.
And that's really the goal here. We're not just here to educate you, we are here to activate you, to help you make that leap from just thinking about leading to actually practicing leadership, one small, brave step at a time. So the only question left is, what's your first step going to be?